On to the next take. The Dallas Cowboys defense looked kind of fraudulent this weekend. And they allowed the Arizona Cardinals to kind of light it up on them. I think that James Conner could be a solid RB2 the rest of the season, and I think he could be a good trade target. He isn't the sexiest player, but he has proven to be productive through these first 3 weeks. What's kind of y'all thoughts about James Conner? Is he somebody that you'd be looking to sell high on, or would you rather try to acquire him in a trade? I think the Cardinals have shown that they're committed to using him this year, and that's why I'm kind of high on him. But I do think some owners might be looking to sell high right now. What's y'all take?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a James Conner fan. I think that their offense has like kind of come out of nowhere. You know, with Josh Dobbs, he really put on a hell of a performance. He exceeded just about all expectations, and I think the entire offense has honestly last week exceeded expectations. I don't know if I can say that I consistently believe that James Conner is going to rush for over 100 yards every single game, but as of now, I mean, if somebody's looking to trade for him, I'm not giving him away for nothing. You know, I'm demanding as much as I ever would for James Conner. As of now, he's top 10 RB. He's shown through the first 3 weeks that he's a pretty solid and reliable option. So right now, I mean, if I'm selling him, I'm getting good value for him. I'm not just buying into, oh, it's a fluke, he's going to lose his production. The only thing I will say is that going forward, uh, him staying healthy is going to be a concern. You know, he gets injured a lot, but he's running as hard as he's ever run. I think he looks good, and I don't know if it's the new coach or what, but I think their offense as a whole is playing much better than most people would have expected.
Yeah, so the running back position this year in general has been like kind of confusing and like hard to evaluate. But with that being said, would you be looking, James Conner, he's, a later round pick than some of these elite guys that have been struggling, like Ramondre Stevenson or Josh Jacobs. Do you think it might be a good time to cash in on what we've seen from James Conner and try to go for those guys who we thought were going to have elite seasons but just haven't lived up to that potential? Or do you feel more comfortable just, riding the consistent output that James Conner has shown us through these first 3 weeks?
I'd consider trading him for Josh Jacobs. I'm a little more hesitant when it comes to Ramondre. Um, it's not to say that I don't think Ramondre is going to have better days ahead, but I think just the Zeke thing, I'm not sure where I stand on it yet. I obviously think Ramondre is better, and he's going to be the better back going forward. Um, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable for trading him for Josh Jacobs than I would for Ramondre right now.
Totally agree right there. I just want to say I've been on record on this podcast or show, whatever we want to call it, saying that Arizona is the worst, going to be the worst fucking offense in the league, going to be the worst team in the league. And I just want to say they have shocked my ass. Their offense looks pretty good. James Conner has looked explosive. I've been on here saying that he's not very good. He's just a volume play, but he's looked explosive. They believe in him. They trust him. They give him the rock. They throw it to him. He's making plays. The only concern I'd have with him if I had him would be the injury concern, just because he's seen so much work.
Mm-hmm.
If I had him, I would probably try and see if I can get. I agree with the Josh Jacobs thing, not so much Ramondre, but I'd feel good about having him. I mean, he's a solid player, and if Kyler comes back anytime soon, I saw some reports recently saying that he's not going to be ready for Week 5. But if he comes back anytime towards the middle of the season, I'd feel really good about having James Conner.
So I just want to
Yeah, and
you go, Juice.
I'm going to piggyback off of Brennan right there saying that James Conner looks explosive. I don't know if y'all know this, but he's amongst the top 5 guys in the league with runs over 10-plus yards. That's not usually what you think of James Conner. So, crazy. Look, if Kyler comes back and this offense could get moving a little bit, touchdowns or James Conner's thing, that's, Kyler might not be able to scramble as much. I'm feeling comfortable with him as my RB2.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, that like one thing that was a real shocker to me is going into the season, I thought for sure they're drafting an RB. Now, when they didn't, I kind of probably along with everyone else, I thought it might have been a little bit of tanking going on. But if that's the case, they surely didn't get the game script because Joshua Dobbs was going all in. James Conner looks good. So I think they believe in him. And going forward, I mean, he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. I think he might even. I say next year they'll probably draft someone, but I think he might even be relevant going into next season.
Yeah, I want to wrap this up here, but I just have a quick question. I'm asking to Brennan. You said that you would trade Josh Jacobs or James Conner for Josh Jacobs, not so much Ramondre. Am I hearing this correctly? Are you saying that if you had James Conner and somebody offered you Ramondre Stevenson, you're saying, no way, I'm not doing this? Is that what you're trying to say right now?
I think so, man. Dude, I've been on record saying I fucking hate this Cardinals offense. And I wasn't too high on James Conner, but I agree with Sap with what he said earlier. I don't know how I feel about Zeke yet. This latest game, this on week 3, Zeke looked good. He had like 16 carries for like 80 yards. He looked explosive. I don't know how I feel about this Patriots backfield yet. So if they tried to offer me that, I'd probably just be holding.
Yeah,
Okay, all
that's
right.
how I feel.